Hey guys, welcome back to Handmade with me, Marianne. So as you guys know, I love thrifting. I mean, let's see. Recently we have gone thrifting. We have made over a chair that I thrifted. And today I'm going to show you how to turn this $1 bucket that I found at the thrift store into an upholstered storage ottoman. At least that's the plan. So here's a little inside secret for you. We actually do test all of the projects before we make them. But in this case, we only have one of these buckets, so we're kind of winging it. Think it's gonna work? Let's find out. All right, guys, so the first thing we're going to do is cover the outside of our drum with some batting. This is optional, but it's really gonna give it that kind of plush, upholstered look that I'm going for here. I mean, this is all kind of an experiment, so let's see how it works. You can buy quilting batting at any craft or fabric store. So you can see that we have already cut the batting to the height of our bucket, and this is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 layers. That's just how many layers came in our bag of batting. But I think, again, it's just gonna make it look nice and flush. And we're just gonna use hot glue to attach this. This is kind of a cheater's version of upholstery. This is really not the time for a tiny glue gun. You need one that's really gonna work for you. Okay, so when we get to the end, I'm gonna reinforce this with a little extra glue, making sure that all of the layers are tacked down, and then I'm gonna trim any excess. Okay, so we have our batting in place. Now it's time for our fabric. Now I went with this kind of abstract medium weight upholstery fabric, and we're just going to tack this on with, you guessed it, some hot glue. Because again, this is a no-sew, no special materials project. When you're doing this, the most important thing is to make sure you're keeping your seam in the back. You kind of want to keep your seam in the same place so that it's easy to hide and there's not any lumpy areas. I've got enough of those under my clothes. I don't know why I have to get so weird every time, guys.
But at least you rhyme.
It's like Dr. Seuss for people with body issues. So you can see we've got our seam in the back, and the most important thing is that you give yourself about 1.5 inches of extra fabric so you can give yourself a nice finished look. So let's get to gluing. All right, so unlike the batting, you really only need to worry about gluing at the seam, and then we're gonna glue on the inside, but you don't need to add a lot of glue as you're attaching your fabric. So we have glued the back, and now we're going to glue the top and the bottom. To do this, there's really no rhyme or reason to it. Just try to keep your fabric fairly flush. You'll need to add some pleats as you go around. You just want to make sure it lays flat. All right, so now we're just going to finish off by gluing the top of the fabric to the inside. It's not hard. It's like a 2 glue gun burn 24 glue stick project. Okay, so this already is looking pretty cute as is. If you want to leave it without a lid, I would recommend getting a little bit of grosgrain ribbon to kind of finish off the inside so it looks nice and neat. We can make a lid, so let's get to it. Okay guys, so to come up with a lid for our ottoman, I kind of had to put my thinking cap on, and this is what we came up with. These are wood rounds. You can find these in various sizes at the craft store, but to find them this big, we actually had to go to a hardware store. We got one that's a little bit bigger than the circumference of our bucket, and we got one that is small enough to rest inside it. Set this one aside for now, and we're gonna grab a piece of upholstery foam. This is about 1 inch foam. So lay your larger wood round down on the foam and trace. Voila. Grab a little bit more of your quilting batting, and we're just going to wrap that around. And now we're just going to add a layer of fabric. Now when you're adding your fabric, give yourself plenty of excess, because the idea is we're going to cover these cut edges with this other wood round so our lid sits down in the bucket. All right, so before we trim off the excess, make sure that this is going to cover all of our cut edges. And the idea here is we want to make sure that we have some exposed wood in the center for our wood glue to grab onto. So we've trimmed off the excess. Time to grab some wood glue. We're going to give this a pretty generous coating right here in the exposed part of our larger wood round. Pop this guy on top, put something heavy on top until it dries. And then we want to press firmly. And now you just want to put, like I said, something heavy on top, or you could get a couple of big clamps, but I promised you guys we weren't gonna have to use any special tools for this project, so we're just gonna put something heavy on top. Whew. Now we're gonna let that dry for a couple of hours. Okay, moment of truth time. Got our lid. Ooh. And it should nestle right down in there, and boom. How cute is this, guys? A $1 bucket, less than a yard of fabric, about 2,800 glue sticks. Just kidding, but a few glue sticks, a little batting, and you've got an adorable storage ottoman. I think this would be so cute in a bedroom or in a dorm room. You could use this to hold all those sweaters you don't have room for. But I want to hear from you guys. What do you think about this thrifted upcycling project? You feeling it? Are you headed off to college? Planning on decorating your dorm? I want to hear all about it. Why don't you let me know in the comments down below. Don't forget to give us a thumbs up and subscribe. See you guys next time. I think I need to go find a home for this guy. Bye.
And
Jess. This is like my hair and my lip gloss, and I'm hot. Hungry.
glue gun
Working
burns.
these
Glue gun's not working. And we're going to grab a piece of upholstery foam. It's upholstery foam. Once again, I'm like taking my high school portraits.